From stage fright to spotlight, our comprehensive public speaking segment of the show designed to help you master this crucial skill. Whether you're speaking to a large audience or in front of a small group, this segment of the show will give you the tools you need to shed the stage fright and step confidently into the spotlight. All right, this segment of the show will also have guest appearances from some of my fellow Toastmasters. And if you don't know what Toastmasters is, I'm going to tell you right now. Toastmasters International is a nonprofit educational organization that teaches public speaking and leadership skills through a worldwide network of clubs. I happen to belong to the Spirited Speakers Club out of Middleborough, Massachusetts, and we currently meet virtually on the second and fourth Wednesdays of every month. Stay tuned, because at the end of this segment, I'll show you how you can visit my next virtual Toastmaster meeting, so stay tuned for that. Public speaking, just the mention of it is enough to send shivers down some spines. Believe it or not, it consistently ranks as a fear more intense than death itself. But what if I said there's a place where that fear doesn't just fade, it transforms, where you don't just survive the spotlight, you thrive in it. Welcome to the Toastmasters Edge. On tonight's From Stage Fright to Spotlight segment, I have a powerhouse panel joining us, the Fab Four, the leadership team of Toastmasters District 31. We're diving into why joining Toastmasters could be one of the best decisions you make for your personal and professional growth. Whether you're on the fence about joining, wondering what unexpected skills you'll gain, or just curious about what happens in a meeting, we got you covered. Let's break it all down. Please stand by. So I have some questions about why would you join Toastmasters? If someone is on the fence about joining, what's one skill or experience they'll gain outside of confidence, right? That will surprise them. I think we talked about some already. It's okay to bring it up again, but if someone is on the fence about joining, what's one skill or experience they'll gain that will surprise them?
I will say, if they're scared to join Toastmasters, they should. They shouldn't be, but they should come, because they will come out of their comfort zone. I know for me, that helped me come out of my comfort zone, and taking on these leadership skills have truly helped me. And I wouldn't be where I am without this. So it's been the network for me. And I'm in a safe environment, and it's a positive place, and I love it. And I'm never leaving, so.
I feel the same way. It's a life. Toastmasters, just like the gym and fitness and eating right and everything. It's it's a lifelong thing. It really is. And as time goes by, you just get better and better. It's awesome. It's awesome. And then you get to help other people out, which is also a great feeling. So, does anybody have anything to say about to people that are on the fence about joining Toastmasters? What's one skill or experience that they'll gain that might surprise them?
We've spoken about speaking, we've spoken about writing skills, but one skill that goes under the radar is the ability to listen. Toastmaster Jason, as leaders, we become more empathetic leaders by active listening. And we seek to understand rather than to be understood. That's the first quality of leadership. From the club to the area to the division to the district, if someone were to ask me, Veera, what really changed in leadership is the ability to listen to your members. Each one has a different way to express their concerns or opinions. But as leaders, we really have to understand what they are trying to say. There may be some passion, there may be some excitement, but there would be an underlying concern that would really benefit us as leaders. And that's a data point that is worth taking. So the listening skill and then the problem or the challenge is easy to solve. Toastmaster Jason.
We lost you for a second, Vera. Where do we lose him? Let's see. I could just edit this part quick out. You were talking about, I'm trying to think of what you were
I was talking
mid-sentence.
about the misconception of listening skills. People come to Toastmasters not knowing that they can also improve their listening skills. And as a leader, one thing that I've developed from the club to area to division to district is to be an empathetic leader, someone who can listen more, seek to understand. And then once I understand, it is easy to solve any challenge that they have. But the listening skills is something which we don't advertise, but something members will feel excited about when they join Toastmasters.
Man, I can't believe I didn't even think of that. And I talk about it all the time. And that's part of my networking segment of this show. You know, show up, the core four of networking, show up, be yourself, pay attention, and follow up. The pay attention, I always talk about active listening. And I've talked about how Toastmasters helps out. There's a listener role within the club. And that helps me when I'm writing notes, when I'm in a business meeting with somebody on Zoom or in person, or just to take notes and be able to actively listen and pay attention to what's going on. And it helps out when I'm with a prospect in fitness, or whether that's in commercial real estate. I'm sitting there taking notes, and the listener role in Toastmasters has helped me out immensely. And that was a surprise. The leadership was a surprise to me. And well, I'm at it. I knew the networking was going to kind of be, I didn't know the networking was going to be so prolific. It really is. Because you have, again, the club level, district level, even beyond that. It's an international organization, right? But anyhow, no, thank you for that, Vera, the listening part. I didn't even think about that. So you kind of surprised me real quick. Christian, do you have anything to say about anything that would surprise somebody, like a skill that they would acquire when they join Toastmasters?
Jason, I like this question because it got me to reflect on what I might think was surprising if somebody told me about Toastmasters, that they would gain this experience. And what I would have to say is clarity in thinking. Now, why is that? When I have to give a speech on the fly in our table topics session, impromptu speaking, it teaches me and all members who join or guests who are participating in table topics, we have the rule of three. We can go by that. Pick out 3 things you want to say, and then figure out how to logically connect them with transitions. It gets you thinking that way over and over again, so that, as Vera said, when he was a new member, he was overcome by fear, and all he could think about is those thoughts would go out of his mind. He just has to speak. There was no clarity in speaking. By practicing this over and over again, you come up with a structure in your mind of how you want to deliver your points to the audience and make them logically connect. And that not only benefits you in impromptu speaking, it helps you in speech writing. If you're thinking about, I need to give a speech, I don't know what I'm going to talk about, think about those points you want to make and how you're going to transition between them. And it's helped me in not only writing speeches, but just writing in general. So clarity in thinking, Jason, is something I would say that Toastmasters helps everyone who joins and participates in the Toastmasters meeting. That is probably surprising, because if somebody told me that I would gain that out of Toastmasters, I wouldn't understand why.
Wow, no, that's awesome. I mean, there's a lot of surprise skills and a lot of unexpected benefits of being participating in Toastmasters. There really is. All of these are good. So does anybody else have any surprise skills that they can think of? I mean, we've already had a ton.
I would say feedback. We have that we have that third portion of the meeting, right? The feedback portion or the evaluation portion of the meeting. I personally think that feedback is good. You get to listen, which we talked about, listening to the member. But in addition, as a result, you take those words they say or whatever it is that they're talking about, or their speech, right? You're watching their speech, you're observing their speech, you're doing some observation. You take some notes along the way, jot down notes on what you see, observe, hear. You use that feedback to give them the evaluation, to give them the feedback on what they need to do better, but in addition, things that they did well. And I think it surprised me because I am able to apply it to what I do at work. My first time I had to do a performance review with an employee of mine, I had no guidance. They now have the guidance out there, but my first time I had no guidance. I didn't know what to do. I sat down at my desk probably 15 minutes prior to this meeting with him, and I said, all right, here's the sandwich method. The sandwich method. One good thing, one negative, and another positive, because that's what we do with our evaluations, right? We do the sandwich method. So, or the cookie method, however you want to do it. Basically said, what's in the meat of the sandwich that needs to for improvement? And then what's the bread? What's the things that they did really well? And it surprised me because I went in, I was scared. It was my first time, but I took a breath, met with my employee, and it went well because we had that positive discussion back and forth. And I was able to give the two positives and a negative for future feedback on how to, for them to better themselves. So feedback is one of the things, or evaluations, however you look at it.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that either, like the feedback to be so structured. And by it being so structured, it not only helps the individual that's receiving the feedback, but the person that's actually giving the feedback. What ends up happening is that sharpens your skills too. The evaluator, it helps them out. So when they go to do a speech again, because they've seen other people doing speech and they evaluate them, it helps themselves out as well. That's what I found anyway. And I could speak to one of the surprises, I guess, that surprised me as far as the skills. It was table topics. I didn't know there was such a thing. And when it first came out, luckily they didn't have the wheel where they just pick somebody. They're actually asking for volunteers, but it took me a while. But ever since, I forget how long it's been now, but I said, no, every single time I'm in a meeting, I'm going to do a table topics, like on purpose, force myself to, you know what I mean? And I found that it really does help you out in real life. It's crazy. It's like every single meeting I've done it. And then I catch myself outside of the meeting when I have to like kind of impromptu speak. And it's like, wow, it is just like, you got to do the reps and get the experience, and it carries over into real life. All this stuff does. It's awesome. The leadership, the communication, the education, everything. So this is awesome. All right. So let's see. Let's move on to the next question. Unless anyone has anything else to add on that. No? All right. So public speaking is often listed as a bigger fear than death. So if Toastmasters were a superhero, what would its superpower be? Who wants to take that one? I can answer, but I want someone else to take it.
The technique that we use at Toastmasters, Jason, is experiential learning, and then the ability to systematically desensitize public speaking. So when someone comes to Toastmasters, it could be the biggest fear, but by the end of 6 months or 6 years, they slowly but surely get rid of that fear. They still have it, but they learn techniques to overcome that. What we use is systematic desensitization of that fear, and they will definitely become better persons of what they are, but it is experiential learning and self-paced learning. So these would be the two superpowers that really help us, cut down the fear and make it into a strength. Public speaking transform into a strength, from something which you thought it was not your strength to becoming a strength. That's life transforming experience to Smart Jason.
No, that's awesome. And it, like we all were talking about, it transfers over into real life. So you would say that the superpower of Toastmaster would, if Toastmaster was a superhero, the superpower would be to extinguish fear, and it just extinguishes fear and makes you feel comfortable and confident. That's awesome. That's awesome. Anybody else?
Oh, I'll go, Jen. I saw you on mute. I would say invincibility, but that's overselling here. We said before, we're not perfect. We're not invincible. Jason, adaptability would be my superhero power that I get from Toastmasters. We talked about table topics. You don't know what the topic's going to be, but you have to give an answer. You have to adapt to anything that somebody asks you. Think about anytime you're out in public, anytime you're in a team meeting, people are going to ask you questions and you don't know exactly what that question's going to be. You have to adapt to that question, give an answer, and do it quickly on the fly, being able to adapt. The leadership aspect of Toastmasters, you're dealing with a very heterogeneous group of people. People are very different that you deal with amongst Toastmasters Club and the district in general. You have to learn how to adapt and communicate with different people that are going to be part of your district, part of your club, anyone in general that you're interacting with. How do they communicate with you? How are you getting your message across to them? Adapt, learn how they communicate, learn how to build rapport with them. And it all comes down to learning how to adapt your skills, your way of communicating, your way of speaking to the other person. Clear channel of communication, Jason.
No, I love that adaptability. That's a interesting way to put that, or perspective. I love that. That would be a cool superpower. Bethany, Jen?
Yeah, so I would say a superpower is the reduction of ahs and ums, using appropriate pauses, and listening. Listening, because not only do you reduce your ahs and ums, use effective pauses, but now you're listening to other people saying ahs and ums, and you're the one counting ahs and ums of those that are around you. I came out of a Toastmasters meeting the other day at work, and all I know was that one of my coworkers was walking behind me, and she was telling me about how she counts at meetings, how one of our leaders or managers uses a lot of ahs and ums. And I was thinking during our staff meeting later that day, I go, oh, I wonder if she's counting because our manager just used about 5 ums. So superpower, I would say, is reducing ahs and ums, but also listening to other people use the words ahs and ums.
That's great. Those filler words, ever since joining Toastmasters and having the grammarian counter as part of one of the club roles that count the ahs, ums, and filler words when people are speaking throughout the meeting, I've noticed at networking events when other people speak, give their 60 seconds, or just in general, even on TV, watching TV, and I'm sitting there like, wow, look at all these ums and ahs and filler words I'm hearing. Like, oh my God, it's like nails on a chalkboard to me now, you know? Like, but I've noticed quite a bit now that after joining Toastmasters, and I've also noticed the reduction, as Jen was talking about, of the ahs and ums and filler words. So it's definitely helped out big time with that. How about you, Bethany? What would a superpower be?
My superpower would be I bring in my yoga to my before I give my speeches. I always go back to my breath and to take a deep breath before I get up there and give my speeches, and then I'm ready to go. So I bring that in, and then especially with the postures too, always making sure I'm standing correctly. Like in yoga, they talk about the posture. So that's how I bring in my superpower, and just being that no one's judging. Like in yoga, no one's judging you either. It's a positive place, and it's a comfortable place as well to be.
No, that's right. That's awesome. Those are all awesome superpowers, and there's probably a few more too. But I mean, there's so much that Toastmasters brings, which brings me to my next question. You know, how can a non-member see a meeting in action? I mean, after the segment here, at the tail end of this segment, I'm going to end up letting you know how you can get involved and hop on one of my virtual meetings. But there's other ways to a non-member can see a meeting in action. You guys want to take that?
If you're free the first or the third Thursdays of every month, come to Minutemen Toastmasters of Waltham. We meet from 7 to 8:30 in the evening. We'll be happy to have you. We'll meet at the Meadow Green Nursing Home. To be inclusive, we also have the Zoom access, so you can join us virtually. We would love to have you in person, but first and the third Thursdays of every month in Waltham.
Awesome. Thank you, Vera.
So
Well-
also, you can come visit Rhode Island Active Toastmasters. We meet on the first and third Mondays from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. And we meet at a beautiful location, New England Tech, and we have an amazing group. So come check us out. We'll welcome you with open arms.
Are you virtual as well, or just in
We are
person?
not. We're just in person.
Okay.
We have the live aspect.
Awesome.
And if you want to attend a hybrid club, come join Mill City Toastmasters. We meet first and third Wednesdays hybrid at the Beehive Corporation in Tingsboro, Massachusetts from 7 to 8. But if you just want virtual, that's okay. We do that for the second and fourth and fifth Wednesdays of the month, 7 to 8 also. If you want to come, that's how you can join us, Mill City Toastmasters. Or I do need to say, if none of these clubs work for you, go to toastmasters.org and you can click on Find a Club, put in your zip code. There's a bunch of search options that are available to you if you don't like any of these options. We hope that you like one of these options, but if not, do that.
Thanks, Jen. That's right. Just go to toastmasters.org and search for a club near you. They're all over the place. Go ahead, Christian.
I'd like to invite everyone to my club. We have what's called corporate clubs or closed clubs in the district that are only open to employees. That's my home club. I would love to have all of you come to it, but they don't allow that within the company. To Jen's point, though, search online, search for your town Toastmasters, and you will come up with hits for Find a Club, as Jen said. Enter your information in there, your location. You can enter your location if you want a local club that you attend in person. It will send the club your contact information, and they will reach out to you. So that's a good way to find a local club. There's also club websites. If you do a search, you'll go to their website. There's a contact us in there. You can click on that and get more information on how to join a meeting. And for anyone who is not new to Toastmasters, if you've already earned your educational requirements, level 1 and level 2 in our Pathways educational system, I invite you on the second Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m. to come join an advanced club meeting, the Advanced Articulators of Andover. It is not in Andover. It used to be, but we're all virtual now. You don't have to be in the location. Go to our district31.org website, search for advanced clubs, and there is a link to our meeting, or just do the Google search, as I said, Advanced Articulators of Andover, and you'll find our homepage, Jason.
Awesome. Thank you, Christian. And if anybody wants any further information, just contact me and I'll get you in touch with any of the Fab Four or whoever you need to do so. And does anyone have anything else they'd like to share before we end this segment of From Stage Fright to Spotlight? Anything?
I'll say, for my experience, if you're listening to this and you're saying to yourself, as I did many, many years ago, Toastmasters is probably the last place I want to go to because I do not want to get in front of people and speak. That is the reason why you need to come join a Toastmasters meeting. Everybody is welcome. You don't need to be a member. Any of those clubs, do a search in your area, virtual or in person. Come as a guest and see what Toastmasters Experiential Learning Program is all about to get over that fear, so you're not saying, I don't want to get in front of anyone in public speaking.
Yeah, excellent advice. Excellent. It's like anything, every time I don't want to go work out to the gym, because let me tell you, working out it's a grind, man. I don't like to go to the gym only when I'm working on my mental, but it's a grind. No one wants to go to the gym, but when I do end up going, I'm happy that I did. So that's what happens with Toastmasters too, and you get stronger and everything else about it too. All right. So the Fab Four, ladies and gentlemen, Bethany, Christian, Vera, Jen, thank you for sharing your wisdom, your stories, and your humor with us today. I'm looking forward to having you all back on to talk about District 31's Communication and Leadership Conference 2025. Again, CLCon, we're going to talk about that in the next one, but CLCon 25 is a 3-day conference from May 2nd to May 4th on leadership and communication and all the other great stuff that we talked about here about Toastmasters. Our theme this year happens to be the power of you through persistent imagination to promote personal growth and leadership development and explore how individuals can tap into their latent potential and remove barriers that limit their performance, because that is Toastmasters' true superpower for real. All right, guys, thank you very much for joining me, and we'll see you the next time. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Next week, we're going to have all about CLCon, which is happening the first week of May. So stay tuned for that. So whether you're looking to sharpen your communication skills, build confidence, or tap into the hidden superpower of Toastmasters, there's no better way to see the magic in action than by attending a meeting yourself. If today's conversation sparked your curiosity, take the next step. Get involved in Toastmasters. Speaking of taking the next step, my next virtual Toastmaster meeting is coming up. The next meeting will be next Wednesday, April 23rd from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to experience a virtual meeting and see what it's all about, comment Spirited and I will send you the link. Don't miss out. Again, comment Spirited and I'll share the meeting link with you. When you log into the meeting, don't be scared. Feel free to sit back and observe and take it all in from the sidelines. We'll make you feel welcome, but participation is optional. No pressure, just relax and enjoy the experience. Hope to see you.